Officer Art Oberusnik, I think he must be getting me too, and Officer Bruce Fox. And we are.
Let me just start off. My name is Bruce Fox. I'm a police lieutenant for the city of Glendale, and just I'm going to give you a two-minute version of what I am and who I am. I'm the West Area Commander. About 2 or 3 years ago now, we started this thing called Area Command, where we took all of Glendale and divided it up into districts, and we put management employees, me, in charge of each area. So my whole area is Western Glendale, so I have the area west of Brand and north of the freeway as my area to any problem, any concern, any crime trend, anything that's going on, I'm all over it. And believe you me, my phone rings off the hook from some of your neighbors all the time. As a matter of fact, there was a letter to the mayor last week by some of our friends down on Dryden. The neighborhood's not happy with the way parents conduct themselves, especially in the morning. Not so much in the afternoon, but the morning's really bad. Especially if, in regards to seizing and taking over people's driveways, and at one point even driving across the front lawn. So needless to say, that was last year. So needless to say, we hear about those things a lot. My friends here at the Traffic Bureau, you see them out there a lot. Unfortunately, they have their little leather books open every now and then. There's big promotions for that, but and my friends in the white Jeeps who do the parking enforcement, we do the best we can with what we have to be in all the schools because you're not isolated. As a matter of fact, I probably have the 3 of the worst traffic schools are in my area. It's Balboa, this school in Franklin, has some of the worst problems of all of Glendale, so we're going to keep concentrating on. But what Officer Brusnik and Officer Chacon are going to talk to you about is just kind of some helpful hints, things that I have a feeling just here tonight, normally it's the people that don't need the message or the ones that come to the meeting. But if you can tell 2 friends who tell 2 friends about something you heard here tonight, maybe we can spread the message to some of our fellow parents and keep our kids safe. That's our goal, and be good neighbors. That's our goal at the end of the day. So I'm going to turn it over to my 2 traffic officers. They're going to talk to you a little bit about some of the things they've seen, some of the trends they've seen around the schools, and some things you can do to keep yourself safe. Anthony, you up?
Sure.
All right, cool. You bet. Thank you, buddy.
So I'm Anthony. I'm one of the motorists assigned primarily to this area. A lot of times I do end up helping out South Command, so the south end of the city I may be there. But for years I've actually been up here with Toll, Keppel, and Hoover. I got to know a lot of kids, got to see a lot of them grow up, probably some of your kids that have moved on to junior high also. But I spent a lot of time up here, so I'm familiar with the problems, I'm familiar with the area. As far as tips and tricks, you guys know the routine. You can only cram so many cars and people into one area, especially being a residential area. The streets aren't very wide to begin with. Other than just, I guess, common sense tells you, get her early, the Zen attitude. All that helps, and we all need that. And again, like the lieutenant said, I'm sure I'm preaching to the choir over here. But if you guys have any questions, I can elaborate on that. There's not too many tips or tricks I can give you, but please, any concerns, I'll take questions one at a time and I'll keep going.
So, my kids and I walk across Highland
Okay.
on South.
Okay.
So we're coming on South, walk across Highland. There's no crosswalk right there. But I got honked at the other day and someone yelled at me and said, there's no crosswalk here, you can't cross. But there's no crosswalk in that whole area.
Okay, that would be considered an unmarked crosswalk. It is a crosswalk.
Right.
Okay, because any prolongation of the roadway, the curb line, would be considered a sidewalk. The vehicle code covers that. I can write tickets to people that fail to yield to you, and they have the same look on their face. There's no crosswalk. Yeah, there is. And I have them sign the ticket. But that being the case, I know it's not going to solve, people from honking at you because they don't have that knowledge. But it is a crosswalk. It is a safe place to cross.
Which side of the street?
So I'm coming,
Across Highland?
yeah, I'm coming east on South, is that South Street that
Yeah.
crosses Highland right there? And, because we park on Alma, because I don't
Okay.
want to get involved in this mess with my kids.
Gotcha,
So we
gotcha.
park on Alma and we walk east on South, cross.
On the north side.
On the north
Got it.
side, cross Highland, and then we go to the crossing guards to cross Virginia.
Because one thing just real quick, Anthony.
Go ahead.
I met with Wayne Coe, Traffic Engineering, today in preparation for this meeting, so I am going to be going back to him with tips.
Like crosswalk, marked crosswalk?
Yeah, even though it's, like Officer Chacon said, it's technically any place where a sidewalk keeps going, unless there's a sign saying otherwise, that's an automatic crosswalk. but sometimes just the paint makes a big difference. So
Yeah, because that is such a congested area, people coming from different directions to get in the Keppel loading, they're in such a hurry. I mean, crossing that, I take my kids' hands and I'm just, afraid. So if it was marked, at least people might have a little more consideration.
yeah,
That'd be great.
I'm taking notes.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. Anybody else? Concerns, problems, things you've seen that you want me to fix?
Not that I'm a vigilante or anything, but
Oh.
can we?
Oh,
One of my biggest pet peeves is the red zone parkers that are very special. They don't have to park on the street. They pull right up to their luxurious red zone
right.
and get their kids there. And it drives me insane because when my daughter, we all came from when our littlest were, you have the bucket seat and it's 103 degrees, but you're parked at the top of Virginia because you're following the rules. So can we take pictures of their, it drives me crazy because you're not here enough and I know you can't be.
Yeah.
But what if we took pictures of
I was
license
actually-
plates in that red zone?
I was actually thinking about that today. That's something I have to bring up to.
I'm not saying I would have to be really, I don't want them to attack me, but.
Here's what we could do. I have an idea. If you as the PTA, as a semi-official group, want to take pictures of people violating specific parking regulations and forward them to me, I'll give your principal what I would be willing to do, and we've done this before for speeding violations, we will run the license plates, and then maybe we can, since you do have them sign a contract, maybe they can get some sort of warning letter or something from the school saying, hey, listen, the police and the neighbors are upset with us.
That'd be great.
The parents are upset with, and you're contributing to the problem, something like that. Maybe we can do that as a team.
It would be fantastic to just dissuade them from
Okay,
doing
my
that.
email's on there, so if we want to start doing that, it's like taking inventory, writing out plates, we'll just do it informally. Now, we do have a process too for videotaping parking violations and mailing them tickets. Are we still doing that?
Yes, our parking. tickets.
So we can re-engage that system too, but let's try this as well.
Yeah.
Couldn't hurt.
That is actually my biggest complaint too.
Yeah.
But my other one is I've stopped driving and we walk no matter what, raining or anything, just because it is so bad. And especially I'll be headed west on South Street and there's a long line of cars and someone, more than one usually, feels like they don't have to wait in line. They will actually cross
Yeah.
and
Coming.
head west on the eastbound lane and then still turn right on Virginia. Yep, that, I mean,
Driving on the left
Yes.
is not a violation, unless there's double yellow lines there. But making a right turn when there's a vehicle set up to make a right turn is, so they could be potentially cited for that.
I don't want to make any promises, but I talked to Wayne Coe about that intersection today, and he's gonna study it. But one idea that we talked about was a concrete triangle that would separate. So the cars making left turns would go on the left lane, and the cars making right turns would be forced in the right
That'd be
lane.
great.
So he's gonna study it engineering wise. I'm no engineer. I just come up with these ideas off my head, but it's something we discussed. So if you have ideas like that too, your principal has my emails. But I thought that might be a possibility. First, we talked about delineators on South, but we don't want to force the Highland people to go all the way around. But this might be a better first measure.
The other thing that gets me is the people that drive up here and don't want to wait in the line. So they just pull over on the left-hand side and let their kids out to run across the street in
Yeah.
between cars. I almost hit the other day after I dropped my son off. Right in front of the gate, there was a lady with a baby and a child. Right, as I was moving, went right in front of the car. I came this close to hitting them.
Yeah, at my son's
It
school,
makes me insane.
or my daughter's school now, they will put that in the bulletin. They'll say, hey, Silver Yukon, you let your kids run in the middle. I mean, it's kind of hardcore, but
You know what, I'm not.
I'm not for vigilante.
We could do some damage, I think.
Have their kid get out by themselves and walk across.
Those ones where they're actually, where a kid runs right in front of a car, I think those are the ones where you gotta step it up a little bit.
Yeah.
It happens every day
Oh, does it?
more than once.
You can make a nice, credible threat. and
Unless you're
it's not
here and then
wrong.
everyone's well behaved.
Exactly.
Right, of
Here.
course.
Yeah, when you're sitting down there.
Or we're pulling them down the street and they're
But
yelling
you know
at us.
what? You know what was helpful? Last year you had
I hope so.
a woman who she was dressed, but she was on the sidewalk, just taking pictures and writing down, but they didn't notice her because she didn't have a motorcycle
That's bad
in the
part.
car.
Yeah.
Light blue
and
shirt?
I think so.
Yeah.
She nailed the most people ever because she looked like one of us, just a normal parent in the front yard of the school. But she was taking photos and then ticketing like crazy. Send her back. She's fantastic.
We don't have enough of them, but I will bring them back.
Yeah, she's
for
great.
At least
That
a
was
couple
great.
times.
Just so you guys are aware, what our parking checkers can do is actually videotape entire row of cars being in violation of a certain sign between certain hours. They don't have to contact you right there and then.
Right.
They'll go back to the station, run every plate, and mail the ticket to every resident. And you'll get that ticket in the mail like, I didn't do anything, but it's actually on video and it's stored away.
That's great.
So
That's
just
good
you
to
guys are aware of that. I understand your frustrations with regards to traffic congestion around the school. And I'm sure when you witness these violations, you're thinking, now where's the motor officer, where's the officer, how come they're not getting a ticket? A bunch of people are getting away with this stuff. You guys have to understand there's about 15 motors right now, citywide. And between guys being injured on duty, being sick, being in training or vacation, like today, for example, there was just 3 of us in the entire city.
And 15 motors in 27 schools in Glendale proper.
Right, and every school wants us there for morning pickup or drop off, or afternoon pickup or
We're
drop
so
off.
nice, so we get.
Well, yeah, you know, you're right.
You guys are working because you get 3 schools in one place. I mean, this place needs attention. I don't disagree with that. And if we could, we would be here every day, but we have other functions as well. We respond to emergency calls and traffic collisions where people are hurt. Those take priority over working in school zone enforcement.
And unfortunately, a lot of them
However,
happen.
we do come out whenever we can, and occasionally you'll see us, and sometimes we might not be around. Or we might be working a different school. So just, bottom line is, it comes down to policing yourself, and obviously you guys that care about what's going on are here, and I'm sure you're not violating anything. It's the people that are not here, that
Right.
need to be here and be informed of this, that are not getting the information across. But hopefully, whenever we do come out and take enforcement action, I hope you guys are not upset when we end up with a ticket.
And I was like cheering, laughing, waving,
But,
honking. I love seeing people get tickets here. I love it. I wish if I could give them.
We're a money boom, man. Like big money for the city of Glendale.
You know, and our experience is that it's always, I was running late today. I mean, I don't know how many times these guys hear that, but it's always the lack of planning and the last minute stuff that people, take that as a license to misbehave.
Well, you know what, and
But
it's
it's
one thing
better-
about stopping the road, it's another thing to put your kid in.
It's better for your kid to be a little bit late. I mean, I don't want them to be late a lot, but,
You guys have more power than you realize. You just need to start thinking outside the box. I know you guys aren't sworn officers and can't issue official tickets. Okay, there's other ways to go about doing it. Any parent here can take a picture of somebody's license plate, or even have just a quick, short word. I'm not suggesting or confrontation. I don't want anything escalating. We don't want any fights. We don't know what's going to happen. But at the same time, you can have a word with them. Hey, that's not cool. That's not safe. And if you want to go a step beyond that, or at least maybe even a staff member, principal, teacher, could say, hey, you know what? Something that serious. Your kid almost got hit by a car today. I've seen that happen before with you. We're going to forward this information to the Department of Children and Family Services. They're required by law to do an investigation for that. They will come under investigation. They will be contacted. This will be recorded. I don't know. I've actually talked to parents about that, and all of a sudden their attitude changes. And I mean, it had nothing because they had the attitude with the bad time. All of a sudden, DCFS, what? You might, lose your kid? All right, calm down.
But that would just be a nice thing to mention in a PTA letter tomorrow, that we were here for this, and the kids that are being let out to walk in between, and they can be.
Kids don't know any better. They're up in the clock, right? They're young. And it boils down to parents.
For our seniors, just for you all to know, when Seth is out there, and I'm trying to be out there as much as I can, or one of the other staff members, if a parent, sometimes we have parents drive up, double park, and then back into their kid to come to the car. My orders to whoever's out there is that the answer is no.
Oh, nice.
Absolutely no, your kid will not be walking out in the street. We need to kind of come around, get in the traffic lane or park and walk over and get them, but we won't let them go. So that's our rule. So at least we're trying to stop that direction, it's the
Yeah.
other direction that, you know, they're out of the car and already in traffic before we can do anything about it,
And
so.
that's another thing I suggested along that line. I suggested to parents, because I'm familiar with schools having parents sign contracts for behavior, for pickup, for drop off, what's appropriate language, appropriate clothing. They sign tons of paperwork. I know because I'm a parent, a lot of tons of paperwork. But those contracts can go a step further than that. Now, I'm glad you're concerned enough to keep it, you know, okay, hey, these kids are in my custody until they're not, until they're with their parent or their guardian. But taking that step up a notch, okay, be completely, you know, responsible for their safety. If you do have a problem parent, and again, you know, these issues, drastic measures obviously for drastic people. If you had a severe problem and it's the same guy over and over, a group of people, I would, part of that contract, you know, I'd say there in nice print that, hey, you need to sign out your child. So make them park somewhere legally, I don't care if it's 2 blocks away, come into the office, sign out their child, then they can be released. And then you don't have to worry about them calling to the car, stopping in the red zone. Of course, I would use these measures for everybody that stops, you know.
Another reason that I noticed, they park there. 4 cars on 2 days in a row, they leave their cars there. No passenger, no driver, nothing, and they walk over here, pick up their kids, and their cars are parked there. Nobody there whatsoever.
Yeah.
They just park there illegally.
You can sign them.
I told 4 cars, just yesterday and today were 3 cars. I call those people VIP people because they're too special. They can't, you know, they can't park 3 blocks away like I do. It's like, you know,
Are they blocking?
they're blocking, yeah. There's no parking whatsoever at
They
all.
park, they
There's
pull
no
in.
parking. They pull it back to back like this, and the cars are there, no driver, no passenger, nothing whatsoever. 2 days in a row.
What are some of the things you guys are seeing around the school in general that are kind of egregious or unsafe? Maybe it might be something we haven't even noticed.
And this morning I had a training here. I start out up here and then I walk down there.
Yeah.
So I'm usually down there as well. So, but with that, if we had a parent volunteer, lots of schools are parent volunteers who
Absolutely.
run the traffic area. And so, you know, that would be great if we had people who just wanted to sign up one day a week, but 3 or 4 people, you know, 2 or 3
I would do it.
to help out with that on a volunteer basis, that would be a wonderful thing. If we have, you know, green safety vests that you can wear and,
What time to what time do you need it? I need 7:30, actually 7:45 to like
Bigger presence.
Well, not only that, like, I think a little solidarity, a little bit of solidarity would go a long way. Like if you see one parent tell someone, hey, this is a red zone, if 2 and 3 people say something to them, they're probably not gonna stand up. If it's just one-on-one and it's a man versus a woman, he might stand up, but if 2 more people come up and say, yeah, this is a red zone, let's keep it clear, they'll shrink away from that.
Yeah, we just talked about you the other night. You're one of them.
the other thing, it doesn't have a problem with this thing, especially is people park there, even though it's signed not to park. And if there's 1 car parked in that movie,
You don't have people out there?
well, if they're parked here in the morning, you know,
If they
6:30,
parked there last
Oh,
night.
call us.
then we do.
Okay.
We do. As soon as we know, we call. We give them a chance to move because I think that it doesn't start being restricted until 7:30.
Right.
And so, but by then, it's already a problem. So, so you're taking those people, but one of the other problems is on Thursday, your kids get out early. And so the sign says, no parking between 2 and, you know, but on Thursdays, they actually get out, it's like 10, so we have cars will park in the traffic lane. Is there a way to get the sign changed so that on Thursdays, it's gonna be an earlier, no parking?
I've dealt with this in Verdugo Woodlands, he's not too hip on. Problem is when we start adding layers to the parking signs, it goes to court and the judge throws everything out. And people just, you lose the whole thing. Because, you know, like you've seen those pictures from New York where there's like signs, you know, except on April 30th, you can park here, you know, like, so they get weird about that. So they're not too hip to it. I know, yeah.
Change the sign to reflect that every day of the week.
Well, they do have those flip signs. I don't know, let me bring that up.
Yeah, or maybe it can just be from 1 o'clock instead of 2 o'clock.
Yeah, that's what, I go and take, at Verdugo
Every day.
Woodlands, at Verdugo Woodlands, I think that's what they did do.
Yeah. That
Okay,
would be
yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
That would
Can
be
you do me a
awesome.
favor, shoot me an email on that?
Yeah.
Okay, to remind me, okay.
That would be
Change
great.
that with a white out and shirt.
Cross out their Because everything's fine.
People can't see the bus stop sign in the front.
What, trees?
Yeah, I've already spoken to Wayne Cove. I'm Naira.
What'd he say?
Actually, I'll see him tomorrow again and I'll talk to him.
Shoot me an email, like, you got that?
Because they can't see the bus. It's very small and it's behind the trees.
Even the red, no parking, circle.
Yeah, what's
Are you taking over?
It's painted invisible now.
They can't see.
Okay. If you hit Wayne and I hit Wayne, it's not Wayne, it's Dave. Wayne pushes a button and Dave comes and does it.
Actually, I'm in the same department as Wayne Cove is, so I get to see him twice a week.
Okay.
I'll
Well,
see.
you hit him, I'll hit him, we'll get him to work.
Okay. I'll talk.
It's not Wayne though, it's, he sends it to Dave.
Oh.
That's the problem.
He's my connect.
Oh, yeah. You know Lou, Dave Lou?
Huh?
Dave Lou?
No.
Oh,
I only go through Wayne Cove.
oh, all right. He's the guy who actually
I
gets
just
the
go
work done.
directly to him.
Yeah, cool. What else? Anything non-traffic related?
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I should have said
Somebody just asked me to come over and ask you, because,
that. Oh, keep getting going. All right, last
all right, real quick,
Two
she's,
hands.
just because she's my daughter, so what irritates me irritates her. She doesn't like that the middle schoolers camp out all over people's lawns after school. And she wants to know if that's okay. When you go to this corner of Highland and Glenwood, there's at least 30, the people work 9 to 5 or whatever, like middle schoolers all over their lawn, their trash, so it drives her crazy too. Like, are they allowed to do that, the poor people's lawns, but maybe if the people aren't complaining to you, it's not a big
It's
deal?
their property.
Okay.
It's up to them to
Hear that,
call us.
Juliet? Okay.
If we have had private property, not so much residential, but like over by Jefferson, like the church, they can put a trespass letter on file and we can enforce it, but there's nothing we can do.
It's
I drive by and see all the time unless the people call us.
Right, it drives her crazy because it's disrespectful.
It's
So
just
she knows
it's
that.
basic.
Yeah.
Well, we know she would never do that.
There you go, Juliet.
You said to call you. What number do we call you? Do we get your direct number or?
Just, she's got all my stuff right here, so the principal's got all my magic numbers.
I'll put it on the website.
Yeah. That's all right. That's all right. It's on the internet anyway. Email me, bring me lunch, I don't care. No, not that one. Wait, we said 2 more. You're my third. Go
Oh,
ahead.
sorry. This is completely non-traffic. A couple days ago, I was waiting for my daughter. She's a first grader to come out. And as I was waiting in the car, there were 3 boys from our school that they were already out. And they were playing with somebody's rocks on the floor by their front lawn. So what they were doing, they were throwing rocks, a bunch of rocks at each other. 2 of them on this side and 1 of them on someone's property. And what they did is, 2 of them were standing right next to my car as I was parked, and the other one was on someone's lawn. So they threw all these rocks, and it completely went on the other person's car. I mean, I saw the rocks hit the car, and it probably scratched their car. And the other person, as was about to hit back, it would have probably hit my car. I pulled my window down, and I screamed at those boys full out. I said, before I report you to the principal, you guys stop doing this, because you just scratched probably that neighbor's cars. And now you're going to do the same to all these people parked here. So what do we do in those instances when we
If you
see?
see kids misbehaving outside of school, even though the school's been dismissed, you can let us know and we will go.
Take a picture of them
Okay.
again,
Yeah,
bring it
if you know
to
who
school.
these are, you can tell me and then we'll pull them in and talk to them next time.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely, because we're, officially kind of responsible for them until they get home,
Okay.
even if they've been dismissed.
Yeah, because nobody was saying anything to them, and as soon as I said it, I mean, they all were kind of shocked, and they just apologized, and they
What
just.
it is about boys and moms.
Yeah.
But there's something about that, they don't really think about the consequences where that rock may go.
Yeah, I mean, so many rocks hit that poor neighbor's car. I don't even know what.
Oh, we're happy to go off campus and
Okay.
address it. And if you know what it is, you can just tell me the next day I'll pull them and say, hey.
Or take their pictures now.
I'm saying this is right
We don't have any trouble this year between tall teachers and young teachers, right?
Oh, no.
Nobody's trying to run anybody over.
Yes.
No, you laugh, it happened.
Yes. No. Well, our school friends love very much are having, you know, it's a little hard on them with the construction and stuff. So we're trying to be very patient and you know, nurture our colleagues and as much as she can. But
And thank you. I joked at the beginning about the good parents being here, but I really mean it. I mean, the parents who are involved here with the PTA organization are obviously the ones who care a lot. We just ask you to spread the word. We'll help support you in any endeavors you can. Thanks for having us here tonight.
Thank you so
Madam
much.
President.
we all run around county all day long, so we know that you can't be everywhere, but do know that we appreciate you guys.
We'll see you, Mark. We'll be around. Let us know when you have like an event or something. You have like carnival or like Harvest Festival?
Yeah.
Harvest Festival, we're all there. Boy, you guys fire the cannon off too, right?
Yeah, awesome. Thank you.
Oh, you are okay. Good night. Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I have a question.
Sure.
When you're, instead of in your car, are you able to come out physically and walk or no?
I'm sorry, what's your question?
You know when you usually park in your car and wait for, are you able to, are you able to come out?
Yeah, we're allowed to leave that thing and walk around.
Can you do that more?
Speaking about Virginia, right?
Yeah.
Virginia and what's going on? If you can physically be there,
We like to be on our bikes just in case something happens.
No, because when people see you, when they actually see you, it makes a big difference. It's different when you're in the car.
Cameras work a wonder. Even scouts, when they pointed at us, I'm like, I better watch what I'm doing because it's going to end up on YouTube.
Yep.
We have
Guys, you know what?
people really correct themselves when they notice.
We're gonna let Virginia wrap it up, and then the officers are gonna stay and answer questions.
Thanks. Don't stay and answer questions. I need to wrap this up. I have a few more things of business, and then Naira, you be one of them. So, just a couple things. We need to release some funds so we can actually spend money for our events. I can't do that without the association approving it. So, if I can get a motion to release $500 for reflections. Naira, Colleen seconds. Any opposed? All those say aye. Aye. Motion carried. I need to release the funds of $22.50 for 2020 for father-daughter dinner. Motion. Rhoda. Maria seconds. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. And to release funds for Red Ribbon Week. $1,000.
For what?
Red Ribbon Week. Have a motion?
Is that the
Kathy?
Sorry? Is that the
No
bullying?
drug
That's the drug
awareness.
awareness.
It's when you're
Drug awareness.
kindergarten.
And a second motion, please. Melanie? Any opposed? All those say aye.
Yeah, sorry, just taking